let's get into the latest Seahawks news and rumors here. I can't even believe this is a topic. What year is it? Adam Gase, could he be the next OC for the Seattle Seahawks?
This is a wild proposition on so many levels.
Everyone type WTF.
Yeah, type WTF. This is a real report. The Seahawks have met with Gase. They have spoken with him. Now, the word interview was not used, but it's the same thing. Like, they have actually inquired with Adam Gase for their OC opening. Now, let's call this what it is. This would be a disaster, Mitch. He flamed out as the Jets head coach. How much longer is he going to live on that first year in Miami where he won 10 games? Like, I don't get it. I just don't see how you can hire Adam Gase. Another note, they are going to interview Mike Kafka.
Yep.
Way better candidate, in my opinion, the quarterback coach of the Chiefs, who's highly regarded. But look at what Gase has done the last half-decade, where he's still riding that 10-6 season with Miami.
But he's also still riding the coattails of Peyton Manning having a great offense in Denver. I'm sorry. You give me Peyton Manning basically in his prime with other receivers they had, I'm going to be putting up 55 touchdowns as well.
Yeah,
so.
It's just I don't get this from Gase. Like, I'm not saying he never deserves another opportunity to be some sort of an assistant, but to me, he needs a year off. Like, no one should hire him in this cycle unless he wants to go to the Nick Saban of coaches who can't coach school and be an analyst for Alabama. This would be a disaster. And by the way, Jamal Adams would be an absolute shambles. He forced his way out of New York because of how much he hated Adam Gase. You cannot hire Adam Gase if you're the Seattle Seahawks. You can't do it.
I mean, for Seattle, you gave up 2 first-round picks to go get Jamal Adams. Whether that was worth it or not, that still remains to be seen. But there's just no way you can bring in Adam Gase.
Can't do it.
With all these other candidates out there, especially when everything you hear about Adam Gase. I mean, not only has he not been able to prove that he wasn't a good head coach.
Doesn't connect with players.
He's a horrible connection with players. And what's one of the best things that Pete Carroll does? He's, like, great with connecting with players.
Coach,
like, I just don't understand what the Seattle Seahawks are trying to do here. And maybe they just have a bad organization of hiring OCs, because I was actually never really a big fan of even a guy like Brian Schottenheimer. But I would take Brian Schottenheimer over Adam Gase.
It would be less crazy to revert on firing Schottenheimer and bring him back than to bring in Adam Gase. And that would be crazy to bring Schotty back after you fired him just a week ago. So this is a bad idea. There's some more coaching news out there and some rumors as well with the Seattle Seahawks, Mitch, as we move on from Gase here. Dave Canales, the passing game coordinator, turned down the Vanderbilt OC job. Now, he hasn't been calling play. Yeah, good, by the way.
Good.
They're terrible. He could be in the mix to get that promotion. I don't think it's super likely, but Ian Rappaport did throw this out there that he could get some buzz as an OC around the NFL this cycle. So if you're Seattle, you got to figure out where Canales fits on your coaching staff as well.
See, my biggest issue with Canales is anytime I go back and I look at a great quarterback like Russell Wilson, I didn't like how Brian Schottenheimer and ultimately this entire offense tried to use Russ Wilson, especially at the end of the season. And as the season went on and on and on, that's when defenses start to do things a little bit differently. That's where your OC, that's where your pass game coordinator, you need to be able to find plays to get your best players involved. I don't think Seattle did that, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I would be concerned about Canales, because at the end of the day, you have Russell Wilson, and he's really, really struggled at the end of the season.
Would you rather hire Adam Gase or promote Canales?
Promote Canales.
Just because he's not Adam Gase.
Well, I just don't understand why anybody in their right mind would go out and bring in this Adam Gase guy, especially like you mentioned earlier with Jamal Adams. It makes absolutely no sense. There are so many other candidates out there that are much more worthy of your OC job. And for Seattle, your win now, your window is now.
Yes.
You need to take advantage and continue to win football games right now, as long as DK Metcalf is as cheap as he is. But, oh, my Lord, if you go out and hire Gase, I don't know.
Just hire Mike Kafka. Like, it's not that hard. Like, go get Mike Kafka.
See, the other thing with Mike Kafka is, though, could he potentially then be the new OC for the Chiefs?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty
intriguing. That's why I would
to
jump
me.
on board now if I was Seattle.
All right, we're getting off the rails. So go ahead, go down in the comments, try to predict who will be the Seahawks OC next season. NFL fans, get yourself an NFL face covering. Hey, it's getting cold in January, no matter where you are. Woo. And not only can you look good, these things keep you really, really warm. So go to chatsports.com/stay-safe. They come in packs from 1, 2, 3 to 4. And all we're trying to do here is make sure that we can go live normal lives and watch some normal NFL playoff games. Because, man, if there is one thing that I miss, it is that playoff atmosphere. So all we always try to do here at Chat Sports is find you all great deals, but also let's be smart. Let's do the right things. Go get yourself an NFL face mask. All 32 teams, again, all these sizes, it's basically one size fits all, and they're machine washable.
Yes.
Do the right things. Wear a face mask. It'll be in the comments section below and in the description, chatsports.com/stay safe. A little bit more of an update here. I guess we're going to talk about Chris Carson and whether or not the Seattle Seahawks should try to re-sign their running back.
Yeah, we'll give our thoughts in a minute here. Some background. Jake Heaps, who bounced in and out of the Seahawks practice squad as a quarterback, he's been working for 710 Seattle for a few years now. He's well tied with the organization as a former player. He believes Carson will be back, which personally I think is the right move. Now, Pete Carroll also, just to kind of double down, it's pretty clear he wants to get back to running the football, which
I don't know, man.
We'll let you guys decide if that's a good idea or not. But moving on from Shoddy seems to suggest he wants to rein things in because Shoddy tried to let Russ cook this year, and with mixed results, to be fair, especially down the stretch of the year. But with Carson, you got to make a decision because he's one of the top free agent running backs, and I know they have kind of a crop of guys, but Penny's had a lot of injuries. Carlos Hyde's a free agent as well. I think bringing back Chris Carson is a good idea.
It comes down to money. I mean, I think Chris Carson is one of the most underrated running backs in the entire league. And when he got injured, you really actually saw the Seahawks offense really kind of take a step back. And I ultimately think that when Russell Wilson and this team is cooking, it is really, off that play action, letting the people go down the field. But it also reminds me a lot, the Seahawks offense of like the Green Bay Packers, where they would just try to let Aaron Rodgers just run streaks and make people get open. No, you need to make some corrections. You need to actually come up with a game plan, and that falls on the coaches. But back to Chris Carson. I mean, here are his numbers in 2018, 2019. He's been a good running back, but the issue is there's a lot of other talented running backs in free agency, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Am I going to pay a running back $8 million plus who hasn't been able to stay healthy?
2018 and 19 was mostly healthy. He missed 4 games this year, and you see the production dip in 2020. That's why I wanted to show 2020 versus 2018 and 19. He still averaged 4.8 yards per carry.
Oh, he's a great running back.
Which tells me he didn't really dip off. He just didn't get the production, and he missed some games. Obviously, back-to-back 1,100-plus yard seasons in the previous 2 years. He's got 2.5, 3 seasons now of being a legitimate top 10, top 12 running back in the National Football League. I think you made a good point. This team likes to run the football and set up play action. It seems like Pete Carroll wants to get back to that because down the stretch, this offense did not perform at the level that it's accustomed to doing. I think Chris Carson needs to return. Here's what I would do, Mitch, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Give him a Melvin Gordon type of deal. Maybe you overpay on the per year a little bit, and Gordon got 2 years, $16 million, but it's short term. Don't give him 3+ years. Give him 2 years in the $14 to $17 million range. Give him 11, 12 guaranteed, and call it a day. If he flames out, okay, he's off your books, potentially for only like $3 or $4 million dead cap in 2022. So I think that's a good idea. I think they need to bring him back. If they don't bring him back, they got to go get somebody because I don't trust Rashad Penny to be my future at running back.
So if I'm Chris Carson, if I'm his agent, I try to do everything I possibly can, obviously to get a big payday. However, I think the best fit for Carson to have the most success is with the Seattle Seahawks.
Compromise.
And also, I will also do this if I'm Seattle. Your win now mode is now. Like right now is your window. So now's your time to win.
2-year deal.
You can get a 2-year deal. I think the Melvin Gordon deal is a deal that we've discussed multiple times here on the show. It's definitely a smart one. So what should the Seahawks do with Chris Carson? Type S for sign or type D for don't sign him and maybe go a different route. If your objective is to go out and get a running back in free agency, this is probably the best bang for your buck. Or, sure, you could potentially, I guess, go out, look to see what else is out there in terms of
You could also tag him if you want to, but I would sign him.